Elderly people. She almost ran me over. There might be literally somebody here living right now. We gotta be careful. We might be in somebody's living room right now. We don't even know it. Well, why would your car break down there? Nobody inside? The absolute worst parts of Miami-Dade County, Miami Gardens, with their homicide rate is only about 20% higher than what you see here. So living here in some of these parts of Port Charlotte, a neighborhood where maybe perhaps you might think it's Midwestern people moving here, is only about 20% less homicides than a place like Miami Gardens. And that should just put into perspective how bad things have got in this community. What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life.
And Kevin?
Welcome to Charlotte County, Florida. And for the people that live in this community, scenes like this have become normal. When you moved to Charlotte County, how long ago was it?
Probably about 4 years now.
Okay. This place was quiet, it was safe, it was just the type of place you'd want to move to.
Oh, yeah.
But over the last probably year and a half, things have definitely changed. Port Charlotte and Charlotte County have changed possibly for the worst. So yesterday you were going out and about town. Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, I was going to an appointment down the road, a medical appointment, and on the way I was on Conway, and when I went down on Conway, I started seeing a bunch of sheriffs, and then I saw another one, the blue lights going. It's like, okay, something must be going on. And then I started seeing another couple more, and then when I started going down off Conway, I saw all the roads had sheriffs blocking all the side streets. And then when I got down to the end, there was about 8 or 9 sheriffs that basically were all blocked down at the end of the road. And I had to basically make a U-turn and find another way to go. And then on the way back, when I was going to my appointment, I was heading out, a helicopter flew over. And then I was like, something's going on. So I was like, I like messaged Jose, and then Jose looked up and he found some information. Find it was actually a guy that shot someone, and it was basically where I was at. And the crazy thing is, it wasn't far from my house. The resource officer from the high school that my daughter's at, he was actually called there too. And they had a thing came up on our phone that said they wanted you to like basically shelter in place. That he was running around our area, and it was such a area where it was at so close that it was back at my house. It was like that too, and we stayed in the house until 6 o'clock, to find out. And he was running around. And when I was turning around, I saw a lady pointing off one of the side streets to one of the sheriffs, and they got out. So I don't know if maybe he ran down one of those roads, but they had the road basically blocked. You couldn't, where I got at, you had to turn all the way around, and traffic had to. And I think it just happened because they weren't even able, like the scene wasn't even secured yet. And I had a feeling something was up with it. It had to have been a major crime.
Charlotte County doesn't have industries, doesn't have good jobs. It used to be just retired people that would move down here. But these days, with the growth in construction and the exodus of undocumented people, a lot of people have moved here to work construction jobs, not knowing that this area is deprived of industries. Despite being much more affordable than other parts of Florida when it comes to housing, there aren't jobs, there aren't industries. So because Charlotte County is considerably more affordable than places in, let's say, Naples or Sarasota or Bradenton or Tampa, it's created a situation where now Port Charlotte is the new hood. And that's crazy because your perception might be people from New York or the Midwest moving down here, but in reality, it's the normal working class people who can't afford to live in the cities that are ending up here. I believe there are 7 officers that he shot at.
Oh yeah.
And
and he was holding his head, I guess, and then I guess he proceeded to basically try to shoot the officers, and it was Northport and Port Charlotte were working together, and there was last time I think multiple shots at him.
At the end of 2024, I think it was, with Officer Diaz that died, where a homeless person shot Officer Diaz, the Cuban officer. And this is the second time now that we see a large-scale violent event in this county related to homeless people. You'll have like 4 or 5 families living in one house, and there's cars out blocking the road every single house. Like there's more than, it's getting to the point where like single-family homes are now duplexes, threeplexes. The draw, of course, of this county used to be how quiet and peaceful it used to be. I mean, look at this street here. Imagine this house here all wooded lots all the way around. Wouldn't you want to live here? It seems like the perfect place. This county has a huge homeless problem. We wouldn't find needles or anything like that like I find up in like Bradenton. You'd find food cans, you'd find, garbage bags with food and chips and stuff.
Yeah, it's more of a clean camp, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these were cleaner camps. So what's different about the homeless population here in this county is that the homeless population here, you have people that are elderly, you have people that have mental health problems, young people that what they make isn't enough for housing. So when you look at this camp here, it's very clean, it's very orderly, it's not a landfill. What's happening in this county is that there's been a lot of oppression, and you got these people that they got nothing to lose. The I hate to use this word to describe law enforcement, but it's almost a tyrannical stance on homelessness. It's very oppressive, and it's left people that are on the streets and homeless vulnerable, scared, and many times feeling like they're going to die in these situations. Lack of access to resources, few opportunities. The homeless people feel like they got nothing to lose, and that makes them desperate. As we're sitting here preparing for today's video, I just had a homeless person call me, and they're desperate. I'm sure you heard it in their voice, Kevin, right?
Yeah.
They feel like they got nothing to lose. So you have people that are in a very vulnerable situation. They feel like they got nothing to lose. And this is unfortunately what has led to much of the violence related to the homeless. Now, we're talking that in this county, we have had 2 homeless people in the last year, a little bit more than a year. At least 2 homeless people have been killed by law enforcement. And then you've had countless other incidents with people with mental health episodes where I think 5 and 6 months ago, there's 2 people that were also killed by law enforcement during mental health episodes. And during all these events, the community has voiced their outrage and discontentment at how aggressive law enforcement is being. So you have a situation in this county where the community is upset, and instead of giving these people the help and resources that they need, it's just a tyrannical approach to people that are not bad. Because like where I live in Bradenton, Florida, the homeless people are mostly addicted. If you go into camps, all you find are needles and stuff that they're stealing. There's nothing stolen at this camp. These people, if you look around, all they have is food. They got food laying around. They got water bottles. So let me show you guys something really important. I'm going to try to approach this site here real quick. But you can see that they got water bottles here. Okay. Now, one thing that you'll know is that when homeless people are buying water bottles, and you can see that they got garbage here from food-related garbage, these aren't the type of homeless people that we're meeting in Bradenton, where the only thing you see are needles and beer cans. So I can tell you just by looking at this camp that whoever's here is not a malicious person. They have a clean camp. The garbage here is food-related, where if you go to Tampa or Bradenton, you see the homeless camps, it's all needles and beer cans. So these are people who have a real situation. They're not, and this person's not even trying to hide their camp. It's actually visible. We're not going to show really where we're at because we don't want to put it out there. But there's cars passing by, right? This is a major intersection, and these people are not trying to hide their camp. Okay, so it's not somebody who's trying to hide. They're kind of almost visible. Okay, all that to say that whoever's here is probably vulnerable, and they need resources. So there's a real problem in this county, and instead of giving these people the help they need, law enforcement has gone with a very tyrannical approach, and it has left law enforcement vulnerable. So over this year and a half, we've seen 2 police officers have been shot at least. Well, 8, 9 if you think about it. But this situation with the homeless in this county, we lost Officer Diaz. The Cuban police officer was killed by a homeless person. It's putting law enforcement in danger because now law enforcement is dealing with people that feel like they got nothing to lose. It's dangerous for the homeless, it's dangerous for law enforcement, and it's becoming dangerous for people who are not involved in this issue. All right, so this is a really clean camp. You can see they got all their garbage in one place. It's very clean and orderly. All right, so this is a really nice camp. There could be somebody here, but they might be afraid of talking to us, so we're going to keep moving. Many times it's elderly people, infirm people that are having to live like this in the state of Florida. This is a state that really, do you smell that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the garbage.
Yeah, it could be the garbage stinking, yeah.
I'm a little worried. Like literally, there could be somebody in there dead right now. We don't even know. Like literally, there could be somebody in that tent dead right now, and we don't know if there is. This is a crazy thing. Have you been with me when we go in the woods and we find elderly people? Like when we found, you weren't with me for the gangster interview, were you? We went into the woods and we found that lady, 85 years old or something, living in the woods. I'm gonna do a safety check because I really do feel. You can stay back here if you want. I don't know if. Hello, anybody here? Hello, anybody here? Anybody here? Hello, do you? Hello? I don't like that smell, bro. There might be somebody that's just probably scared. They got a good igloo. It's not a really bad smell. All right, let's keep it moving. There is a smell, but it's not like it might just be the garbage pile.
I think it's
Let's try the garbage pile.
yeah.
I do believe there is somebody there. They're probably just afraid of talking. Yeah, you think there might be some homeless camps back here? This is old. Luggage, a mattress. Let's see what's all up in here. This is kind of unsightly. It looks like a new construction. They started it, but they never finished it. Now the garbage is spread all through here. There's also a bad smell somewhere. You can see that they got garbage just lined up all in front of this property. Move some of the garbage, now it's spread out everywhere. So about, I would say 2 or 3 years ago, this was the fastest growing area in the country. And today it is actually one of the top 3 worst real estate markets. And you see stuff like this everywhere. Abandoned new houses.
When I moved here about 4 years ago, the house that I got in Port Charlotte, there were only 3 houses available, and I had to do a video of a tour of the house, and I signed the lease and all that. I was in North Carolina just so that I could get a house. There was actually 2 other houses, but they were going so quickly just to get into a house. That's how quick the turnaround was on the house. It actually delayed me about 6 months for another house to pop up, and now there's hundreds of new and older houses that, it's just a big change of. And the interesting thing is when I moved here, the rent was a lot higher, and it's gone down a lot, but there's still all this availability.
Yeah. I mean, you look around here, you have the garbage from the construction site, but if you look behind me over there, you can see that somebody also just dumped residential garbage all through here. So the amount of real estate available is crazy. And to think that you have all these empty houses like this, obviously this is, a private investment. This is somebody owns this.
Yeah.
Maybe a builder or a developer. Somebody owns it.
And some of these I'll see like this because I live in the area. They'll eventually there won't be any more movement, and then they tear it down or they sell it off like parts of it, and they never get finished for whatever reason. I don't know if they run out of money or whatever happens, but it's just weird that I went from 3 or 4 years ago to doing a video and signing a lease, not being here, to basically driving on any street and you see a for rent or for sale houses.
Yeah, and I think with houses like this, the irony of this situation with this county is that there's so many people on the streets, and you have properties everywhere like this that are just abandoned. Now, in the state of Florida, if we're on the easement right now, but if we were to go into this property, it's actually a felony in Florida. In Florida, trespassing into a construction site is a felony. So the homeless people can't really break into a house. Like in other states, like I lived in, like you go up north, the homeless will break into an abandoned house and start a fire in the middle of it or something. That doesn't happen in Florida, because in Florida, if a homeless person goes in there, they're committing like a home invasion or something, which is a huge thing here in Florida. So the irony of this whole situation is, here we have this abandoned house. Nobody's living in it. The government could subsidize the housing right now for people. Who knows what could, None of that. You have this house sitting here abandoned, and I can guarantee you, if we were to walk across the street, there's probably homeless camps all through these wooded areas. In fact, we know that because in the past.
Yeah, and they'll surround these homes that are abandoned or stuff like that, and you see them in like these wooded areas, and you don't have to look very hard to find a homeless camp now in Port Charlotte.
Yeah, and that's pretty sad because, think about, like, there's no resources out here. There's no businesses. This is all just single-family homes. Yeah. Imagine the challenges of making food. And, I also feel like people here in Charlotte County they're not that generous. Where, like, there's a very bad stance on homelessness. Like where you go to Tampa and you'll see people giving homeless people food. The cops let the homeless people panhandle so they don't have to steal. I mean, the homeless people here, they can't stand on a corner and panhandle like they do in Tampa or Bradenton. They'll get arrested. So I feel like here it almost makes the homeless people have to go into criminality, because like in other places like in Tampa or in any of these other places or Fort Myers or Bradenton, the homeless people, they can go and they can panhandle and get a few bucks and buy, you know, beer, whatever they want. But here in this county, you don't see too many people panhandling, do you?
No, you don't. And if you see someone that may be homeless, you can kind of tell because it's at night or they're whatever to the side. And I will stop and give them something or whatever. But you can tell that nobody's really trying to give them anything or assisting them because they're so grateful. And I mean, I can go to one of the WalMarts or a store or anyone, and they're everywhere. But they're not in people's faces. They're kind of away from the thing. But you can tell that there's not really anybody doing it. They're so appreciative and almost shocked. Like if you give them something, like they're almost like, "Wow, you're going to give me, some water or give me some food," and it's just kind of sad. And I don't know, maybe because like people see them and they maybe have a negative attitude with them, or law enforcement. I don't know what it is, but it keeps them more drawn away. But
I think what it's about is they probably, if they get caught panhandling, they're either getting trespassed or they're going to get arrested for panhandling. But in other places, like I said, in Bradenton, they can panhandle and they might make $10, $15 and they got food for whatever they need for that day. But here, they have to go to criminality almost. There's no businesses here. You told me you met we interviewed a homeless person, I think, remember, where the girl said here in Charlotte County that like she got fired from her job because they found out she was homeless.
yeah.
I mean, think about like, I guess it wasn't over her working ability.
It's because they found she was homeless, and then she worked at, I don't want to say what other establishments, she started working at a different place. It was like a fast food place. She actually has a routine of, she would leave the homeless camp. She's at one of the, has a fitness thing where she can get a shower and all that, and then has to do a routine to go to that job, and has to do it in that rotation just to have that job. And I asked her, she works 30-something hours, but the income she makes isn't even enough being homeless to afford to live anywhere. But she has to go in that rotation of, going through those steps, and she has to keep it on the load that she's actually homeless.
Yeah, and what's crazy with that is homeless people have to hide that they're homeless from their employees or they get fired here in this county. If anything, you should help people that are down and out. But the idea here of people is, if they're homeless, you can't even let your employer find out you're homeless. So people say, "Oh, just get a job if you're homeless." Even if you get a job, you can work 40 hours a week. It's not enough for housing.
Yeah.
And
if they're homeless and you're in an establishment or drive through whatever thing, there's a good chance that person, I mean, if you're going there's a good chance there's a homeless person working there. You may get upset whatever, but they actually work.
Oh, yeah.
But they're homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people that work at your Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts are on the streets. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
I think there's a homeless camp up there. Let's go check it out. Right after the hurricanes, we had done a video inside of this homeless camp here. But there is now a no trespassing sign, and we don't want to go to jail, do we, Kevin?
No, I think that's
Probably not worth going to jail. Yeah.
So there's obviously something back there.
Right.
To put
Yeah.
No trespassing.
Yeah. So we actually did a video in here before the no trespassing signs, and there was a homeless camp in there that was flooded. And there was people. You remember how crazy that was? There was like people way in the back.
Yeah, way back. I'd say
Yeah.
a mile back.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy, man. There was like homeless people way back there. We are off of Loveland Boulevard in front of this beautiful new police substation. This building, I'll show it to you guys in a minute. It's a huge new building. The irony is that we're on Loveland Boulevard and we're about to go on a cruise through Loveland Boulevard and show you guys. I mean, there's literally in the lot next door a homeless camp. That's a crazy thing.
And walking distance. Yeah.
Within walking distance from this here, there's homeless camps within walking distance of the police substation here. And the reality is that this county has unfortunately seen a wave of crime as of late. A wave of crime that has led... He didn't want to be in the video. He's like, I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah. Hey, turn signal.
Yeah. Quítate de medio, city! Unfortunately, Charlotte County is in the midst of a crime wave and a wave of violence that is unreal. And unfortunately, this county has had innumerable amounts of deputy-involved shootings in the last few months, at least 2 of which involved homeless people. It's almost like if there's a war between the homeless and law enforcement in this county. And as we've met homeless people in this county and talked to them and interviewed them, we've discovered that the homeless people are almost radicalized with conspiracy theories and ideologies. They feel like they're being oppressed, and they feel like their lives are in danger because of the tyranny of the agencies here in this area. And that's leaving homeless people feeling like they have no way out, like nothing's going to help them. And when you have people that desperate and that much necessity who feel like they have nothing to lose, it creates dangerous situations for people in the community and for law enforcement. And it's that desperation of the mentally ill and the homeless in this county that has brought us some of the most insane news stories that have ever come out of this county. Unfortunately, this county right now is facing one of the worst real estate markets in the country. It's facing a huge homeless problem, and the homicide rates here are now among the highest of any urban core in Florida. In fact, the only other urban core that has a higher homicide rate is Pensacola, way up there in the Panhandle, with a homicide rate of 8.2 per 100,000. Charlotte County is now more dangerous than Miami, Florida. So let's hit the streets and try to understand how this rural and suburban place became one of the most crime-ridden places in Florida in what seems like overnight. Well, this is a beautiful brand new building here. This is the scene of one of the many shootings that has led to a death here in Charlotte County, Florida. Many years ago, Charlotte County used to have one of the lowest homicide rates, not just in the state of Florida, but among the country. This was considered, Charlotte County, the safest place to live in the United States for many years. Unfortunately, today, Charlotte County's reputation is far from that. Many years ago, people from the Midwest and other parts of the country would retire in Charlotte County under the notion that this was one of the safest places in the United States. Unfortunately, today, events like this continue to happen, and people's perception about Charlotte County has changed dramatically from a place known as safe to now having a higher homicide rate than Tampa, Jacksonville, and Miami, Florida. See that vendor taking pictures of it? Mm-hmm. Crazy. You'd ever think you'd see a scene like this in Charlotte County?
No.
Crazy, right? They're opening up that van. They're taking evidence on that van right there. Late in the day, you can still see how law enforcement is still here investigating this site. This woman right here almost ran me over. She almost ran me over, and she blew a stop sign and almost ran me over. I was talking to a homeless guy on the side of the road, and she almost ran me over. Wow. It's getting crazy over here, man. So I talked to a homeless guy. He said he's down to interview.
And what the chances, the undercover cop?
Yeah, that was rude, man. She almost hit me and a guy in a wheelchair.
Wow. And this is a side road. This isn't the highway, you know.
She was flying. She blew the stop sign and almost hit me. She almost hit me with the car, dude. Crazy. The cop, he saw her and came right at her and got her. All right, everybody. So there's a man here on a wheelchair, and he told us he would give us an interview, but he's leaving now, so I'm not sure if he understood what we were supposed to do. But he is probably, I would say, mentally disabled. Now, it's crazy at this intersection. There's 2 memorials. This is a really dangerous intersection. A memorial here, and there's another memorial there. There are 2 memorials. Is he just going to cross the road? All right, guys. So he is crossing the road, and I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him to talk. He said he was going to talk to me, but then now he's crossing the road. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe he wants to do it on the other side. I'm not sure what he's doing. He agreed that he told me he wanted to talk to me, but
He said okay.
yeah, he did. Take a look, guys. There are 2 memorials for accidents at this intersection, so it's a fairly dangerous one.
And you almost got hit here.
I almost got hit by that car over there, so this is hectic right here. You got 2 memorials here on the side of the road, one on each side. The intersection of Tamiami Trail and Conway Boulevard. You can see the cop over there with the woman that almost ran me over. He did make it across, so let's go over there and try to talk to him. Just looking at what's going on at this intersection here should just give you an idea of how crazy Port Charlotte has got. There's another memorial right there. Look, there's one right there as well, guys. Look. That is a third memorial. There are 3 memorials at this intersection. That's insane. So you'll notice that police cars here in Charlotte County will have this little seal in the back for Officer Elio Diaz. This was the Cuban officer that was killed in 2024, December 15th, 2024, here in this county. And he was killed by a homeless person. So obviously the situation between the homeless and law enforcement here is definitely a very complicated one.
Get a drink, and so other day I got the drink and everything, and then I tried to get this other thing. It was some kind of tool or something. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I couldn't get it, so I got off of it real quick because I know somebody was home. But I didn't then 2 more minutes to get out the door. Anyway, short, I got the sandwich and the drink, and that's pretty much what I was doing on that part.
What's your name, brother?
My name's Alan.
Alan.
Yes, sir.
Where are you originally from?
Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah.
All right. Go Blue.
Yeah.
What part of Michigan, brother?
What was it?
What city of Michigan?
Mount Clemens, around Pontiac, Utah area, 41. And not 41, but Gratiot. Yeah, and but anyway, long story short, I lived here when I was 15. Went to school, graduated all in advanced high school, and then was sweetheart wife. Moved together for like 28 years, and then it took long. Man, it took a floppy, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and so, long story short, I had 3 babies, 3 girls, and now I got a lot of grandkids, like grandsons and stuff, but yeah.
How do you end up in Port Charlotte?
All my uncles, my granddad moved down here and they all had shovel sales and 7% businesses, all that 7% business all my relation, and he had done that all the shovel sales and my grandfather had it in Michigan. These are big, like 14 by 60, shovels and stuff like double tip house, double side house, and things like that. But he did really well, and then he brought in the yacht, and we traveled around there for a little while. And then my mom, I was, going. I was like 16, going on 16. I was, my mom. I'm tending not to see his uncle. But yeah, but my mom. So I started sending up to my uncle Steve Hurley. And then long story short, he had a 7% suit. And I was driving a 2.5 tons 7% truck, with cars and everything. I was 15 years old. Big, 6,000 gallons. Anyway, I progressed through all that. Went through, graduated, high school. And so then I moved on, and right when I was getting out of high school, I was having a good girl. I mean, not.
So right now, I can tell you have some disabilities. You're in a wheelchair. You have a disability, right?
Yeah.
You're in a wheelchair.
I
Why don't you have housing? You should have housing.
I tried, man.
You tried?
Oh, man, I tried, and got turned down several times. And then one time I had housing, it was like way out off the Edgewater, man, and I was in a wheelchair, and I said, I gotta have something better than that, so I turned that down, and then after that, I got married, and then they long story short, I had 2 more babies, 2 more daughters, and so then just that I don't know something business, and what's the matter, buddy? See somebody?
Somebody in the woods?
Are you in the woods, bud? He's in the water.
Somebody in the water?
Yeah.
No, for real?
I think an old man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but anyway, There's another guy that's just went over there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's somebody down there. There's somebody in the water.
Yeah, just say,
Why he in the water? There's gators, man.
I see.
There's gator. You ever see gator in that water? I'm pretty gator.
No, I did do that. That's just don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, catch some hogs and deer and everything. Well, then make a long story short, yeah, then I kept the news for a while. Then I stopped that and started doing tree work. And like tree work, I started doing that for like 25 or 30 years, and that's what, tore up my knees.
Okay, I see it's messed up. Yeah.
Oh,
Does that hurt?
ah,
Does that hurt?
hell, oh man.
Does it hurt you?
Oh yeah, I got to get up, person, like, push it over there. I don't always have a little problem, but anyway, I made a lot of money, and
How old are you right now, brother?
I'm 65.
64?
Yeah, I was born 1962, and
Okay.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, and anyway, so yeah, it kept going a little bit, and then, I pushed into drinking, and then,
Yeah.
and then more that on the stuff, and then on, what do you call that? Not relaxing, but, the stuff the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was relaxing too, but, yeah, and it's so bad, it's only 50,000 a knee. That's $100,000, right? So, yeah, I have quite all of it. I mean, but I tried all the other festivals. Go see a lawyer to try to get disability. I turned me down twice on that, and then I just kept drinking and started wrestling credits, and then did a little what do you call that? Yeah, and then my wife had all this and stuff because I was messing around pretty hard, I started out first, and yeah, and then, make a long story short, we got a divorce, and
Do people help you a lot here in Port Charlotte? Do they
oh,
eat the food and stuff?
yeah,
Good
yeah,
people?
a lot of good people. These guys are great around here, and
Yeah.
when I go over to the church, you go Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, and then you get some food, I coach stacks with it. Anyway, to make a long story short, I need to find a husband because this is, of course, not doing what the job is supposed to be doing, but I'm trying to get out of. I'm trying to get out of here, and then my mom said, she's, I know she's not doing real good.
How long have you been on the streets?
I was about 10 years, maybe.
10 years?
Yeah, 10 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first ended up on the streets?
I was 225 pounds, I wasn't worried about shooting much of anything, but then this is the cold, then it got rain on, and then, and then it starts pretty good. And, is that the day right there? No, but anyway, well, then I got cut, shot here, big bullseye, 22 Magnum, and,
Mercer or something?
no, they shot me from the blood.
Mosquitoes and no no-see-ums?
No, they shot me with a gun. There was some kid that had this special,
Mosquitoes and all that? And
yeah. Well, anyway, I don't like guns too much and stuff. So anyway, so I got away from him for one thing. I just away from him.
I want to get a picture of you, my man. I want to get a picture of my man.
Yeah,
Get a picture of me and him together, sideways. I want to get a picture of my man.
pull up.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
My granddad worked out all his life. He was born in San Jose, Nebraska. But anyway, you don't want me sleeping here, so give me.
You got to sleep here on the side of the road.
Yeah, they don't want me to. I guess, I got to find somewhere else.
So you're obviously in a wheelchair. You're disabled. You're in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
They don't offer you any help at all?
We're trying. I got a case manager and whatever they call me, but it's not 100%, but it's trying, a little bit. So I went on a 28 days program to get on that, and like, a lot of people are really nice, and I would use the place, But,
How often have they ever arrested you for trespassing?
yeah, And
How recently?
about probably 6-8 months ago, and
You got arrested for trespassing.
Yeah.
Were you in the wheelchair?
yep.
They took you to jail in a wheelchair.
They took my knee, my wheelchair to jail, and the fishing boat.
They took you to jail in a wheelchair?
Yeah,
What's your full name?
Alan Jean Rosan.
Okay. I don't think somebody in a wheelchair that's just homeless need to be trespassed.
I don't think so,
You were asking? Yeah.
I don't think so neither, but you know, we like make it cleaned up, you know, not look like, you know,
Yeah.
bums or whatever, man. But
Is there anything you would like to say to people that drive by on that road every day about you?
I appreciate all the people that beat the horn and give me money and stuff, and
Yeah.
I haven't good years in my bad days. You know, I get on a
Yeah.
good road for maybe a week, a month, or maybe more, and then you know, then I slip a little bit. But
Okay.
yeah,
What's the nicest thing somebody's ever done for you? Something you just remembered.
they just look beautiful and be number one and go forward.
All right, man.
And that was a woman. And anyway, so yeah, man. Finally, I sleep in the dirt and stuff, not really long, and this and all that. So I know these guys are wanting to talk to me too, so, but man, they're trying to get in housing, you know, it's a little bit of housing, but yeah, I've been in housing before with, you know, with a couple girls and stuff, but you just got to go, keep going and hitting that, you know, where I can get,
That means love.
where I can get into, you know, a house or whatever. But,
What's
I got run over and then I at the doggone store, and then I was on the porch, on the sidewalk. I know it come down here, bang, hit me with his told me that from here to that thing there.
How often do you go to the hospital? Do you go to the hospital a lot?
I never used to go to the hospital at all, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You try to stay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish the interview, my man?
I appreciate you know, your concern and stuff, and I think that I all on and try together and stuff is, you know, it's much better than one, you know.
Take that right there for your time, my man.
I
I really appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go because we're still working. I'm gonna get my microphone back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah,
was,
man, the sandwich.
no. Yeah.
Which one?
I just leave it like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brother.
All right, my
I
man.
appreciate it.
Not all the changes in Port Charlotte are bad. Some of the great recent changes are food trucks like this. This used to be a retirement community, but with younger people, a lot of people from Miami moving here, now you have a huge Cuban food truck scene. So this place here, Andy's, they sell Cuban pizzas. I love Cuban pizza, but it's too early for that, so we're just gonna get some tropical drinks. Definitely, you know, not all the changes in Port Charlotte are bad. This used to be like all retired people, and now you have Cuban food trucks like literally everywhere. Like, and that's a good thing. Sandwich Cubano, Cuban pizza, which is a huge thing here in South Florida. So then you have your creamy soups, which isn't really a Cuban thing, but it must be a thing here. All right, so this is Kevin's first time trying a Cuban guava milkshake. I love how they have like a little container. There we go.
Wow, that's really flavorful. Oh my
Flavorful?
gosh.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
really
of
good.
flavor.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
está bueno.
Nice and thick.
Yeah,
Wow, just taste it.
yeah, a lot of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gracias. Gracias. If you were to go to Cuba, this is exactly what a mango. This is like a real natural mango drink. Andy's in Puerto Rico, check them out.
Oh, this is delicious. It's like a dessert.
Está bueno hacer it. Está
Dessert in a
bueno
cup.
hacer it.
Yeah.
Está bueno
The
hacer it.
Bueno City.
Hacer it.
That's it.
Yeah, no, this is good for sure, bro. This is it right here. On a warm day like today, or if you're like driving to the beach or something, and you just need something to cool down, this is it right here, y'all. There's a Haitian restaurant here. So one thing about Port Charlotte these days, it's that you can get Haitian, Cuban, Puerto Rican, any type of Latin food you want. and it's almost like a little Miami. So one of the good things about Port Charlotte, they're having a lot of bad changes, but one of the good things is that you can get all types of Caribbean food here. What were your thoughts on Cuban taste? I mean, we ate there last time.
It was delicious. It's very reasonable. The food's real fresh. I've ate there 8 times maybe. Yeah. So and I mean,
I got
go
him
there
hooked on
and
Cuban food.
Yeah. I mean, it's delicious. Like black beans, black rice, all kind of different meats and stuff they have.
Isn't
And
your
it's real
dog?
fresh.
Isn't your dog hooked on their food at this point?
Mo loves the yuca and he loves the black beans.
So Kevin and his dog like this place right here.
And they have really good desserts too.
What's crazy? It's just like in a half a mile stretch, you have Puerto Rican, Cuban, Haitian, all that just right here on US 41. We were able to talk to neighbors in the community on the street where that homicide happened. And, the thing that caught me off guard was just how scared that woman was. She said she was scared, like that this happened on her street. She got home and she couldn't enter her street because the cops were there. And, we were able to get a little bit of background information about the whole scene. So part of the details that the neighbors gave us is that they believe, and I don't know if the news has covered this yet, but I guess there had been a robbery and a lot of things were stolen. The guy said he knew the guy that was shot. It was a neighbor, and he said it was a great guy, but maybe there was just the wrong people around him, and it could have been related to a robbery, something along those lines. What do you get from that whole scenario?
I get that was not normal for their street and everything like that, and they kind of said that they kind of like know pretty much most people on the street, but it was almost like they were kind of shocked that when they were came home that there was tape, it was blocked off,
and it seemed like there might have been some type of altercation or robbery or something else that had happened previously.
with some things missing from the house.
Yeah, they said there were things missing from the house, and that's preliminarily off the books because probably not in the official releases yet. Eventually, we'll find out more details.
And maybe that might have upset him because it was monetary, and it was supposedly could have been a weapon too.
Yeah. For the most part, what I learned from that experience of going there and seeing that crime scene, it seems like you can really put bad people around you. And I feel like with that circumstance, it could have been like a good person, but there was maybe roommates or something or people around him that weren't good. And this is preliminary, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But basically, what I gathered was that perhaps it's one of those scenarios where you got good people and you got bad people in the mix, and people out of necessity are having to get roommates or having to have people around them that they probably wouldn't want.
Yeah, it just was a sad thing to happen, especially on that street. But like they said, things happen, like that, and it's a good area. And hopefully it's just a random thing they won't ever have to deal with again.
So the crazy thing is that many of these unfortunate homicides that have been happening in this county are related to roommates or people, living together for cost of living, or, somebody, the renter versus landlord. So there was the incident where the guy killed the landlord. And then there was the one that you mentioned, which was...
There was the one in an apartment complex where basically the lady called 911 because her roommate stopped breathing, but after they got the roommate to the hospital and everything, they actually found out, investigated, the roommate actually was killed by the other roommate.
By the other roommate, yeah.
Yeah, by the other roommate.
So we're talking not one or two cases. We're talking just like a bunch of these scenarios have been happening in this county. And it seems like at the cause of all this is housing costs, people having to make living arrangements or not being able to make living arrangements, leading to desperation, leading to violence, and of course mental health. Mental health is playing a role in that as well. So that is the combination of things that all these different cases have in common. Homelessness, cost of living, lack of living accommodations, desperation over lack of living accommodations, leading people to these desperate scenarios. In other words, it is possible that the reason why this area has become so violent and why we've had so many notorious cases could have something to do with the fact that people simply are desperate over their living arrangements or the lack of thereof. And that's a pretty sad situation, especially considering that this is one of the cheapest places to live in Florida. You've probably noticed how homeless people will sit outside of Wawa gas stations here in Florida. At this particular Wawa, a young black man was outside the gas station, and the police officers noticed that he wasn't doing too good, so they actually called the paramedics. The young man decided to get up to go inside the gas station to get something while the cops were trying to trespass him, and the officers violently threw him on the ground right there in that entryway. They threw him to the ground, busted his mouth, and he bled everywhere. And there was the video that the media got from the sheriff's office about the incident, but one of the people that was shopping inside the store, they filmed their own video, and it showed a very different narrative of what actually happened. The problem here in Charlotte County is that law enforcement is, again, violent, reactive. What's good, brother? You agree with me? You agree with what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, and I agree with it.
They're just too violent, right?
Not just that, I swear to God, they gotta stick up their ass for, pardon my French.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's good cops.
Oh, absolutely great cops, yeah.
But around here,
Yeah.
it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's
Yeah.
guilty and you have to
Absolutely.
prove
Yeah.
you're innocent. And that's messed up. Just because, if somebody is, if you don't drive a nice car and you don't have the right thing,
Yeah.
right.
That's why I drive a new truck. Not that I can afford it, but I know that when I didn't, I was getting profiled all the time.
Exactly.
And that's,
you know what? If you're young, if you dress the wrong way, if you listen to the wrong type of music or anything, there's actually been cases where the guy that serves warrants,
yeah.
Got in trouble for going into the list and
Yeah.
searching other people's information up.
Yeah.
There's been evidence and proof where some of the cops have planted stuff on people. Verbally, I'm okay.
Verbally okay, yeah. The camera right now, it's facing that way, so you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, right. So the problem is that there's been a lot of escalation of violence, and these are individuals who have nothing to lose. They're homeless, and if they had just given them help, because I interview homeless people here on the streets, and they tell me we're desperate. They trespass us. They don't let us sit anywhere. So you got somebody who's in a desperate situation. There's no help. There's no way out. And on top of that, you're antagonizing them. And then when they snap, they take out a few people with them. And yesterday, the cops killed the guy that killed the other guy, but the guy was shooting at the cops. There were 7 officers whose lives were in danger. Yeah.
And you know what? That's it. Because
Yeah.
we've all been depressed, we've been down, had issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things get bad. Some people,
Life
I'm
gets-
upset, and
yeah.
I've been through it. I've had my moments
Yeah.
too. So, yeah, and I mean, we all have our moments and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
some people, I could never do it myself, but
They snap.
yeah.
They snap. And, look, you sit outside these gas stations, you watch how many people don't have a place to sleep tonight, and they need a little bit of help.
You know what I'm?
Yeah.
I'm filling out my VA application for disability right now. I'm going to be sleeping in a hotel tonight myself. So.
That's crazy. I just there's a guy in a wheelchair, covered in I believe it's either MRSA or he's got some type of infection, but he's covered. I interviewed him. He's right on 41. He literally pushed his wheelchair out in the middle of cars and crossed 41. I couldn't believe it.
I was hoping he got hit. He didn't
Yeah,
even
well,
get a roof.
he's disabled. He's full of MRSA. His body's all. He's 65 years old. I paid him for an interview. I couldn't even understand what he was saying. Sad thing is, he says he can't get a disability. Born in Michigan, U.S. citizen, 65 years old, completely disfigured, in a wheelchair, homeless, can't get a disability.
Why not?
My wife needs to be disabled. Can't get a disability. They say because I make too much. My rent alone is more than the threshold. What I pay for rent, and it's the cheapest place I could find in Bradenton, my rent alone is more than the disability threshold.
Disability threshold is not very much.
It's not much. And so that's the problem in the community, where now it's starting to make... See, the problem with these violent incidents is they're making life dangerous for you. They're making life dangerous for law enforcement. If they just help these people that are in these desperate situations, then you wouldn't have these people... Because now it's putting law enforcement in danger. It's putting the public in danger.
Yeah, because you know what? Because we have to... Like a perfect example of wasting funds for everything. In Charlotte County, the commissioners, they prioritize their pocketbooks and their buddies' pocketbooks.
Yeah.
I hate to say that.
Yeah.
But like, for example, the stoplight for Sunseekers.
Yeah.
That light wasn't needed. That light's needed more on Conway right there, where that 5-way freaking thing where people have accidents all the time.
Yeah.
Why'd you put a stoplight there? It's like a bunch of other stupid projects they put in place. I mean, it's...
Yeah. It was obvious that Sunseekers Resort, and I don't even live here, but I know that's too big for this town.
Not only too big, but that was...
what, $220 million.
Yeah, somebody's got.
Something weird happened
And
there.
the whole, if you look at it too, all those businesses that are on the other side of it, up to the bridge, what are they all now? Empty, because they bought all that property for future expansion.
Yeah.
Somebody's pocket got lined.
Oh, of course, no doubt. I appreciate your time, but I'm gonna run. We haven't even had dinner today. I'm trying to wrap up the story. The saddest thing I think is that like these sites or homicide, cop, they're all within 5 minutes of each other, and it's just all this little area right here.
Let me ask you this: where's somebody if Murphy's Law strikes, God forbid, we're all in a couple of paychecks, typically speaking.
I'm there.
Being on the street.
I'm using my credit card to get food today. Yeah.
So, but where are they supposed to go?
Jail. That's their solution.
Well, that's
jail.
Burden on the taxpayer. There should be somewhere that, I mean.
They would rather.
Why put them in jail?
They would rather put you in jail than put you in a hotel, even though jail is more expensive. That's the reality of this country.
And how sad is that?
Yeah. You know how many of these new houses are empty? How many of these apartments are empty, going to crap with no renters? They couldn't create a program where they can They don't want people. They would rather you die than help you.
Yes.
And 100%. Yeah, it costs more money. You know what it costs for a homeless person to walk into a hospital?
How much?
$20,000-$30,000. Right now, if a homeless person out here gets MRSA, right, and they have to go into a hospital, like a homeless person passes out in front of this gas station right now, and they got to take them to the hospital, that's a $30,000 bill. You know what it is?
Yeah, to ride everything.
They could have housed them for 1 year with the same amount of money.
And he wouldn't have gotten the infection in the
But they would rather you get an infection and die on the side of the road than house you.
Well, if you look at it too, and all the great societies from Rome, Britain, before when they were with the world power and everything.
Oh yeah.
There's a direct correlation between their middle class and the upper class and the power and everything.
Yeah.
And there comes a point where a divergence happens where the middle class loses power and the other ones, and that's the immediate decline of that civilization. Rome collapsed soon after Britain did. Look where we're going right now.
Yeah. Facts, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go.
Have a good one, my friend.
Southern Life on YouTube. I don't know if you know the channel.
I've heard of Southern Life, but I don't think
on
I've ever watched
YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. Southern Life.
All right, what's your name?
Jose Rodriguez.
Jose,
thank you, brother. And I've done videos here. Like if you go to my Southern Life, I did a video. You're doing something important. But if you go to my most popular videos, there's a guy called The Gangster.
Yeah.
He's here in Charlotte County. I've had a video in this county make over 800,000 views.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, good.
I'm gonna wrap it up, brother.
Hey.
Wish you the best luck, man.
You as well. Hey,
light a day above ground.
Better than a day underground. Hey, better look up.
Yeah.
Look it down than up.
And you never know. Life is like the wave of the seas. But when you're at the bottom, you don't see. You're not gonna be down there forever. Trust me. It may seem like you get pitfall after pitfall. Life is ups and downs. You're not gonna have downs and downs and downs in life. At some point, things will get better.
Well, you know the good thing about being at the bottom?
Yeah.
You only got one direction to go.
Yeah. Well, some people don't see it that way. Some people cannot see a way out of their problems. But there is a way out. You just can't see it yet.
Yeah, hey, I've been shot at before. So if I made it to this, I can make it to that, I can make it to this.
Yeah. Great, brother. Have fun, man.
Brother.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So that is the situation. The people here agree with me. The situation in this county is a desperate and dire one for people. And the tyrannical, heavy-handed law enforcement and methods that they're using here are not just making life difficult for the people like the homeless, but it's also making life very difficult and challenging for people like you, for people like me, and for law enforcement officers. These methods simply do not work, and it's putting people in our community in danger. And the scene that happened here at this gas station is just another example of law enforcement being tyrannical, being forceful, when a more practical solution existed. I mean, they went from let's call the paramedics to help this person to let's throw him on the ground and break his face. And again, the narrative of law enforcement in the media didn't correlate with the other video that somebody recorded that showed something else happening. Hey, come on, man, give me $1. That's a good parking spot, my man. Hey, come on, man, that's a good park. Give me $1, man. That's a good parking spot I got for you, man. Hey, do you know how many people wanted this parking spot before I pulled up? And I saved it for you. What's up, man? You from the islands, my man?
Yeah.
Jamaica, Haiti, where from?
Trinidad.
Trinity. I love that soca music, my man.
It's weird at watermelon. Yeah.
Just a little food truck here, guys. We're gonna hang out here and get something to eat. Mexican, love Mexican. Oh yeah, agua fresca de sandía, watermelon juice, guys. Mira que rico, mi gente, agua fresca de sandía. That's what's up. Thank you. All right, guys, Kevin's got the food. Check it out. Thank you, sir.
Now get our.
Yo,
they
look
gave
at
us
this.
something too, man.
What, dude? Oh, wow. Esto es lo que hay, mi gente. Miren esto, quesadilla mexicana. Y Kevin tiene sus tacos vegetarianos. Them tacos look good, man. So this is a quesadilla. You ever seen this?
I don't know what this stuff is.
Yeah, salsa verde.
Are they
Green sauce. This one will be mild. This one might be the red one, probably the spicier one. You've never had a quesadilla?
No.
It's like a taco. It's usually gonna be lamb,
And this is the dip stuff.
and that's like a dip that you dip it in. It's like an au jus or something.
That's cool. Oh yeah, I can get silverware.
Oh yeah, the guacamole. Yeah. So the manhunt for this homicide suspect yesterday took law enforcement agencies in Charlotte County all over the area to different homeless camps. This is a place where we've done videos in the past. On that side of the road, there's a homeless camp. You and I interviewed a young couple here in this empty lot. I think they were arrested after we did the interview, by the way. They were afraid of retaliation. Remember, they were afraid of retaliation?
Oh yeah, that's what.
And they did get arrested right after the interview. So that couple lived in a homeless camp right in front of us. I'm sure that homeless camp's not there anymore. But you can see that this site here is an abandoned construction site that's been abandoned for years. And people have just been dumping garbage in front of this construction site. So this is really what things are starting to look like here in Charlotte County. And this is a pretty sad sight. I mean, just think about the fact that first they're trying to build this house, they paralyze the construction site, then people come and dump all this garbage. Either way, there's homeless people living on an empty lot across the street.
And there's a sign right there.
Right.
To dump. There's a sign right there that says not to dump materials and everything else, and
Right.
has a statute on it.
Right, so there's literally a sign. Yeah, there's literally a sign there saying this area is under surveillance. Yet that hasn't stopped people from dumping garbage here. So, this is the reality of many neighborhoods in Port Charlotte. These used to be quiet neighborhoods. You got these abandoned construction sites. Of course, nobody goes into these abandoned construction sites because it is a felony. But look at how much garbage they've dumped out front. And this is really an eyesore in this community. And looking at it, it's been here for a while. It was a lot smaller last time we were here. People have been dumping couches. You got 5 gallons of paint over there, mattresses. This is really sad to see this garbage pile here in this community. And that manhunt brought law enforcement to the homeless camp that's right across the street where perhaps they thought he was there. Let's keep moving. You can see the trusses right here for this construction site that never finished. This looks like a quiet street, right? But there is actually a lot of signs of homelessness everywhere. It's also the people that dump garbage. You can see here how they've dumped, this is construction debris, so somebody doing a remodel. This is more consistent with a homeless camp. What do you think, Kevin? So here on what looks like a quiet street, you can see somebody left their mattress, a little bit of food, and this is fresh. There might be literally somebody here living right now. We gotta be careful. Yeah, and keep it hanging around with me. You're gonna gain some pounds, Kevin. Quiet neighborhood in Port Charlotte that's looking like a landfill. It's crazy. Look at the size of the house that's over there, right?
Yeah.
That's a big house. That's like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, and you got all this. Look at how much garbage there is, and look over there on that side of the road too. Look at that. What is that, like cardboard or something? It's on both sides of the road. I mean, people are literally treating this neighborhood like a landfill back here. That's crazy. There's just an abandoned car there with the hood open. There's nobody in the car.
Maybe in the back seat. You can't see the back.
Wow. Why would there just be a random car there? Let me show you something. So this empty lot's for sale, right? But if you look way in the back, if you just look really carefully through the woods, you'll see there's a tent right there. And then there's like a bicycle right on the trail. Let me see if I can see the bicycle. You can see the blue tent right there. And you can see the bicycle right on the trail. So there's literally homeless people living right there. We just talked briefly with one of the homeowners here in this community. And they told us how upset they are. I mean, can you imagine? Look, there's a tent right there and you can see a bicycle. So imagine you're living on this street and here in the woods there's homeless people living in a tent next door practically. That is wicked. Look right there, guys. You can just make out a tent and a bicycle right there. And it's for sale. You can buy this piece of land. This is a beautiful house. I believe this is a model center. And you got a homeless camp there. And a homeless camp there. And some more homeless camps there. And there is gang graffiti over there. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Guys, there is even gang graffiti here on the side of the road. You can see here, this intersection, how there is literally gang graffiti. It looks like it says SUR and maybe a star in the middle. I really don't know what that means because I've never been in anything like, I don't even know anything like that. I wouldn't even know what that means. I just couldn't even tell you. But you can see there's garbage over here. Somebody took a dump right there. You can see that, okay? We got some beer bottles everywhere. There's a tiger there. We got a tiger right here. Lots of beer bottles, and here's a pillow. It's just all these woods. And the crazy thing is that it's nothing but new houses in all directions. Anywhere you look from here. Look at this, guys. Look at all this garbage. Here's another camp right here. You would find nothing but paraphernalia at these sites. I bet if you just started digging through here, you would find nothing but paraphernalia. It wouldn't be hard. I would assume it wouldn't be hard to find paraphernalia in here. Those are medicine bottles there. It wouldn't be hard to find paraphernalia here. Here it is already. There it is. Evidence of paraphernalia everywhere. Everywhere you look, look. Evidence of paraphernalia is everywhere. If you just look through this stuff, it's nothing but evidence of paraphernalia in all directions. Here's a cut straw, paraphernalia. Here's another cut straw, paraphernalia. Everywhere you look, guys. Everywhere, it's full of paraphernalia. You got these bottles here. Okay, you got these bottles here. That's paraphernalia one way or another. Wow. It's really sad for the hardworking people who have to pay a mortgage or a rent. And behind the woods in their house are people consuming all this stuff. Alright guys, you can see here in the woods, a massive trail going in. And there are people back there, and there's a car parked. There's a car parked in the woods. And there's blue tarps. We're not going to go in there today. You really see that there's a huge camp there in the woods. You can actually hear the people talking. We're not going to go in there right now because we've had a long day already. Alright guys, and right here we have 3 abandoned houses in a row. Or they're not moving very fast. It's like one of those abandoned construction sites. They're either abandoned or they're moving extraordinarily slow. But either way, it doesn't seem like these construction sites are going anywhere that quickly. I mean, what type of scenario do you have going on where you got to have this on your driveway?